for you and me. Made for you and me. Through your made for you and me. Through your
I love this. YouTube, what's up? How you guys doing today? Back at the house, as you guys could possibly tell. Hopefully you enjoyed the little startup video. I think starting the truck is my favorite part of when it comes to putting the key in the ignition. I don't know, I'm weird, but I love that sound, that axle dump with the tip. I'm telling you, man, I love it. It's a good sound. So you guys are probably wondering what's going on in today's video. All right, so I think this video is going to help out a lot of people who are new to the diesel community. I was at that point, you know, 2.5 years ago. I was in the same point, and the purpose of this video is what type of diesel should you get? Okay, so what do I mean by that? Okay, so should I get a newer diesel? Should I get an older diesel? Should I stay away from diesels that have too many miles? Should I, you know, like, what do I look for? You know what I'm saying? I think that's a good video. This will be a good video for you guys. And also on top of that, you know, we got a lot of new people on the channel. I get questions often. You know, what do you have done in your truck? How many miles? You know, what year? You know, some people say it looks good for the condition. You know. So I get a lot of people asking me, you know, does this check out good? Sometimes people send me pictures of trucks they're considering buying, and I'll read the description. I'll give them my opinion and stuff like that. So I think this video is going to be really informative for you guys. Okay, so real quick, starting off the top. You're looking for a diesel truck, okay? The number one thing, is what are you trying to do with it, okay? Are you trying to work with it? Are you trying to haul hay? Are you trying to, you know, haul horses, cattle, whatever? Are you trying to put it to work? Or are you just want a diesel truck because you know it's going to last you, it's going to run good, and whenever you need to tow, you know it's going to be ready to tow, okay? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't tow a whole lot with my truck, okay? The most I have towed now, the most I've towed was about 8,000 pounds. You know, I was hauling a car, and I had the trailer, plus the truck was loaded in the bed. So I don't tow a whole lot. So for me, towing isn't as important as, say, some of you guys who y'all tow for business. That's how y'all feed y'all family. That's how y'all make y'all money, which is awesome. I love that type of stuff, you know. So when it comes to choosing the right diesel, it's important, but also I feel like a lot of people get scared because they're not informed or they don't know enough. And this video is going to help you with that. Watch this if you need help choosing what type of diesel to get, okay? So, new or old, for example, Power Stroke, 7.3 Power Stroke, old school, mid-90s, late 90s, early 2000s, or brand new 6.7, okay? So, first of all, if let's say this is your first diesel truck, it is not your daily driver where you need it in order to make money, get to A to B, get to work, whatever. Okay, I personally would recommend something a little older. Why? Because by getting something a little older or getting something older, you're gonna, one, not pay as much as buying brand new. Because I don't know about you guys, but I can't afford a brand new 2018 Ram 2500 Laramie. I cannot afford that. That is out of my budget. I recommend getting something a little older. Why? A couple things. One, as technology and time goes forward, it's only going to be harder for us to work on our trucks. I think Chevy's already doing it with the newest Duramaxes, where they're locking down on the computers, on the PCMs. You like tuning. I heard for, I think, a 2019 Duramax, I heard it's like going to be impossible because they got some crazy lock on the computers, which is going to make it difficult to get rid of certain things, if you know what I'm saying. So me personally, I'm fine settling for a 10, 15-year-old truck okay? Well, now your next question is going to be, well, okay, so if I get something a little older, what if it has a bunch of miles on it? You know, I can't find a good diesel truck with under, 250, 300,000 miles. They all got a bunch of miles on it, okay? Now, here's my thing on mileage, and this goes for gas and diesel, okay? And I apply this to both of them. It don't matter about the mileage, okay? What matters is who and what did they do when they took care of it. If you understand what that means, what I'm saying is that you can have a vehicle with 200,000 miles on it, but if the maintenance is there, you can see it. You can tell, okay? If it was neglected, you can tell, okay? And that's when knowing what to look for when you buy a diesel is gonna pay off, okay? One golden rule when I tell people to go look when they're looking at a diesel or a car too, this applies to them, okay? It's something called blow by. Blow by is when you take off the gas cap, and when the engine is running, you should not see, you should be able to put the cap on when it's unscrewed from the crankcase, take the oil cap, place it in the hole, don't screw it on, just place it there, and it should not move. It should not go anywhere. It might, do this, that's fine, that's normal. But if you put that cap on there and that cap shoots off, or some people do the golf ball trick, they get a golf ball, just don't drop it in the engine, they get a golf ball, put it there, if the golf ball blows away, no good, okay? What blow by is pretty much your piston rings are shot, meaning you're getting horrible compression. Your engine is pretty much gonna break down eventually, okay? You get a little bit of smoke, I say a little, I mean a little bit. I mean, my truck has just a little bit, which is normal because of mileage and just age. That's fine. But if I put my oil cap on top of my crankcase, it's not gonna go anywhere. She will stay there all day, which is good. That's what you want when you're looking for a diesel. So knowing, and then all the other stuff, oil leaks. Now another thing is with diesels, it's tricky because people are like, oh, you get you a 12 valve Cummins, a 24 valve, a 6.0, 7.3 Power Stroke, a early Duramax, LBZ, LOY, it's normal for them to leak. It is normal for it to leak to an extent, okay? If I get in the truck, crank her up, take her around the block, come back, and there's already 5 drops of oil on the ground, that's gonna raise flags, okay? That means you got a seal somewhere in that truck that needs to get changed, okay? Word of advice is if it's motor oil and it's coming from the backside of the engine, you might have a bad freeze plug. You might have if it's a freeze plug, it's gonna be coolant. You might have a bad freeze plug, or you might have a bad rear main seal, okay? If it's coming from the front, and it's, for example, like a Cummins 5.9 or a 6.7, if it's coming from the front, it could be your timing cover, it could be your front main seal. So those are a couple things you gotta know about when you're checking these trucks in terms of condition and running and stuff. Oil leaks is not the end of the world, especially on a diesel. It is not the end of the world. If it's something to where you got to top it off once a month with a quart of oil, that's actually kind of normal, especially on the older diesels, because they tend to burn more oil. Like a 7.3 Power Stroke, they're going to burn oil even if there is no leak. So that's kind of normal. Same thing with an old school 12 valve. It's natural to have to add a quart of oil once a month. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you got to add a quart of oil every week, that's a problem, okay? Now, next thing y'all might be worried about is transmission. Transmission, when you're looking for a diesel, I'm not going to say you want to make sure it doesn't slip, okay? Because in all honesty, it's kind of hard to tell when a transmission is going to go out or go in, or it's going out or going bad. Because sometimes they don't slip, but they're going to go out, okay? A slipping transmission is the easiest way to tell if a transmission is going out. It is, but truth be told is that if a transmission doesn't have to be slipping, and that motherfucker can go out is when it feels like it, okay? So that gets a little tricky. So what happens is how I check my transmissions when I'm driving the truck and I'm on the highway or I'm at a light in town. I give it gas. If the RPMs are screaming, like I'm talking, 2,500 RPM, 3,000 RPM, and it's up there, and the truck feels like it's not like fully getting it, then that tells me that the transmission's weak, okay? It's not slipping, it's just taking a while to get that power back to the wheels because the transmission, it can't hold the power. So that tells me that the transmission is going weak, okay? That's something that I think a lot of people overthink or overlook. They just look for when the truck is shifting. Okay, so when they're driving, they're waiting for it to shift. They feel the shift and they're like, okay, gear shifts, it's good, it's good. But just because it shifts fine does not mean the transmission is fine. Okay, so you got to know how to look for that. What to know when to buy a diesel? You know, you want to make sure that whoever had it, they took care of it. Me personally, I'm 25 years old. I think I've owned over 10 vehicles since I've been 16, and I have never bought a vehicle from a dealership once. All my vehicles have been private seller. Here's why I tell you, okay? With a private seller, you get a face-to-face with who owns it. You can, it sounds kind of, you know, whatever, but you can tell how a vehicle's been taken care of if you meet the owner. Okay, I hate to say it, but you know, I might sound biased or whatever you want to say it, but that's the truth. You can tell. You know, you pull up to the house, you're checking out the vehicle, you're checking out the truck. You know, every time you ask a question, he responds with an answer like that. You know, they're not like, well, sometimes, like, you know, if they're confident, they sound like, you know, they know, like, even if there is an issue, and I like this and I respect this with people when I buy stuff from them, and I do it myself too, where if there is something wrong with it, at least when you ask them, they can give you an answer right away. They're not stuttering, they're not stumbling on their words, they're not second guessing. Like, they can be like, okay, yeah, that is doing that. You know, I priced the parts out, it's this much for that, I just haven't had time to get to it, or something like that. You know, stuff like that is way more better to hear than not to hear it at all, or hear something that just sounds like it's not true. So knowing the person face to face definitely is going to help when in terms of buying a truck. If you go there and you get a sketchy feel, you just feel like something ain't right there, guess what? You leave. You don't get the truck. You leave and wait for another day. A lot of times people pull the trigger because it's right there, it's in their face. They want the truck back because they want to do all this stuff to it, but they end up getting something that, you know, they can't work with, and it's not cool. You know, that shouldn't be like that. You should get something that you want, that's going to last you, and you're going to get your money's worth from it. Okay. All right. I had to come inside the truck because it was getting a little warm out there. I recommend buying a diesel truck as stock as possible. All right. Now the reason being is because if the truck is bone stock, you know for a fact that there hasn't been much messing around with it. You know the truck probably wasn't as abused as much, okay? If you get a 2002, 2001 24 valve with the VP44, you know, they got 150 horse injectors, all this fuel mods, air mods done to it, turbos and stuff. You don't know what in the hell they would do, you know, what they were doing with that truck. You know, you don't know if it was getting dogged out every single time it got started. You don't know if they were doing burnouts at every light stop. You don't know what they were doing with that truck because of all of that power. You got to think of it like this. If you have a diesel truck and it has all this stuff done to it, how many times are you going to drive it like a grandpa truck? You see what I'm saying? So I highly recommend, if you can, finding that stock diesel truck. Even if you got to pay maybe a couple, like $1 or $2 grand more for a bone stock one, I still recommend it because you know for a fact everything is there. Okay. Also, on top of that, by getting the truck stock, it makes it way easier to troubleshoot when things start going wrong. Okay. So if you get a truck that has all these aftermarket things done to it and you didn't install it, or you weren't the one who paid someone to install it, so you don't know how they installed it, you don't know what they used to install it, you don't know none of that stuff. So it's going to be harder to even diagnose and try to find out what's going on exactly with your truck, because there's so many different variables that got put in because it got modded, you know, before you got it. So that's definitely a big tip when it comes to getting how to choose a diesel truck. Okay, stock is good. Now, if they, you know, if it's stock and they got a tuner on it and that's it, like a box tuner, you know, then okay, that's not a big deal, you know. Or let's say it's a stock truck and they added a lift pump like an air dog or a fast to it. That's good because that's actually going to save the rest of your fuel components. So that's fine. I'm mainly talking about big mods like injectors, turbos, intercoolers, like all sorts of crazy stuff. If they did protective things to it, head studs, you know, upgraded the transmission, maybe reinforced it, stuff like that, then that's fine for the most part, you know. But just try to keep it as stock as possible is what I'm getting at. Okay, so those are some things you guys can think about. Okay, mileage, hit and miss. Like I said, depends on how they took care of the truck. Like I said, when you go to check it, you can tell if they took care of it. If it's a 200,000 mile diesel truck that's been taken care of, it's gonna ride good. You know, if it's 200,000 miles, And every time you give that bitch gas, it smokes, or every time you give it gas, that bitch is shaking. It probably didn't get taken care of, okay? But definitely, the channel's growing. I appreciate it so much, man. I mean, we came a long way in 6 months or 5 months, however long we've been doing these videos, man. And I'm telling you, you guys are the ones that did it. Thank you guys for sharing my videos also, because I noticed that some people share the videos, and I appreciate that also. So definitely, until next time, you guys take it easy, be safe. If you guys got any questions, comments, drop them down below. Instagram link is also down below, everything_diesel. And I also have more things on my Instagram if you want to see. Check it out. I got a bunch of products, and I got all sorts of stuff on there. Just check out the channel. I'm telling you, you'll like it. You won't be disappointed. But yes, that's it. All right. I feel like I missed out on some key notes when it comes to picking up a diesel, but this is the general overall gist of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what to understand, what to know, what you're getting into. All right. Just know, you know, it's not cheap, and it doesn't have to be expensive. Okay. Don't get a diesel truck thinking that all you gotta do is put fuel in it and you can drive it forever, because we all know diesel engines survive on clean fuel, clean oil, filters. If the fluids are dirty, that truck ain't gonna run. Okay, so I'm done. That's it. Until next time, y'all take care. Peace out.